When the green flag waves, we can go racing, and there it is. And that's not a bad start from Miedeke, and smoke out of the back of Crick's car as soon as he lit it up. They're 4 wide behind him. Karanfilovski outside King's car, which is back after the earlier crash today. Fisher and also Tilly, as they try and remain 4 wide to the entry of the corner. They sort it out nicely.
Cricky's pressing on, so obviously not oil pressure or anything like that.
Miedeke fell back to 4th, so not a great start for Andrew Miedeke at all off the front row start. Bell wants the lead early at turn 5. It's not going to happen there. And I'll tell you what, Jason Gomersall up to 3rd.
Good job by Jason.
Very good effort. He's absolutely on for a Pro-Am class victory this weekend. Bottleneck at turn 6.
Yeah, Keith Kasuki having a couple of goes at the turn there. Might have got a bit of help from behind.
Johnson right where he wants to be, but got the feeling that Bow might have what it takes to get 9 laps out of that car. Well, that was tight. Between Mercer and Karanfilovski, 2 very different Fords. And Steve Mason bringing up the back of that pack behind Tony Hunter. End of the first lap, JB's got an okay run here.
He's right where he wants to be. Check out the braking performance of the 2 cars here right now.
Trying to use whatever slipstream he can off the car.
JB has a look.
He owns.
Steve just covers him off, says no way, mate.
He hangs onto that spot. This is great stuff from the i6 runner of Gomersall. Rana's 2nd and 3rd.
Mason just locking a left front.
And Tilly overcooking it slightly.
Yeah, allow Mark King to get a run on him.
King trying to make up for earlier race woes involved in that lap 1 crash in race 2, which we saw a few guys get served. He's actually been in the wars this weekend, Kingy, after his race 1 tank slapper and into the fence. Johnson and Bow looking to eke out this lead. Surprised that Miedeke hasn't managed to go with Gomersall here. Look at the drivers that Jason Gomersall is ahead of right now. Miedeke, Richards and Crick. That's an amazing effort for a guy who is absolutely a gentleman driver. He's not a professional by any stretch of the imagination. He's a businessman. He runs iSeek, and he likes to go racing on his weekends occasionally. He used to race in the Utes, and here he is with his family at the track, watching him come third.
It's awesome, and it's good to have guys like Stevie J in here, because it gives these guys a benchmark. It gives them something to shoot for, and lifts the whole game. And guys like Steve are pretty handy with helping these guys out. They'll look at them and coach them along and help them get the most out of their racing for the weekend.
The big XY moving around under brakes.
And Kingy gets in front of Tilly.
Looks okay in the mid part of the corner, actually, the big Camaro. Bit of grip there. Johnson hanging on to it at the moment. Just 10 lap races, and short sprints.
You can see Steve Johnson's just mid-track and everywhere. He's not being defensive, but he's just placing the car where JB can't do anything about it. And you know who he learnt that off?
JB.
John Bell.
They learn from the best, mate.
Which is quite interesting.
Let's go back and check out the start. Now, Cricky's car was smoking right at the beginning.
Yeah,
now,
he had a bit of something come out the back.
Surely it wasn't tyre smoke with him just spinning the tyres.
Oh, he's on the brake. I didn't think he turned. Well, it's got a fair bit of grunt. He might have turned the tyre.
Oh, big contact in the background between Tony Hunter and Steve Mason as well. And this is what it looked like from on board. Oh, dear.
So you need to wait to the green flag before you go. That's normally the best option.
Hint of sarcasm. And unfortunately, he had more dramas down at turn 5. And the car that he's been sharing with his son this weekend, the old Camaro. And
Cricky's pressing on, so maybe that Mopar engine has got that much whip. She did just turn the tyres. So.
That's not a bad effort. I wonder if this car's also overheating after that knock at the beginning of the race. Disappointment for the inaugural champ back in 2007. He's pulled off now.
So the battle now, can Gomersall hang on?
Well, he's got a handy little gap there over Andrew Miedeke and Jim Richards. Richards is going to more than likely take, not the championship lead, but he'll definitely get more points over Bullis, and Miedeke will just eke out that championship lead a little bit here. So long left in this championship, and I'm definitely not riding off John Bow. The problem will be, though, as he picked very early in the weekend, this bloke's going to keep taking points off him.
Steve's pulling the winning points off him. And he's having a dip too, like using all the road. Look at the body language of the car. Steve's using every bit of the racetrack.
Johnson in car 17. How many times have we said that across the years? We're right on board with him now. shifting through to fourth gear. Man, like this is 270 k's an hour, V8 supercar speed.
So he's having a look. JB's just trying to rattle him.
Getting in his mirrors. It won't happen there. Back
Steve
to second.
just comes across, covers him off.
Good chance to ride on board the man that has over 400 V8 supercar starts. Third gear now. Top gear before you get through this little S-bend. Feathers the throttle, and JB thinks about a shot at turn 5. He's in there.
That's done. That's done. Got it done.
He pokes through it up the right-hand side. And John Bowe under brakes. Gets it done, but look at Mustang Sally fighting back towards turn 6. Just no room there.
He won't roll over. The only place he's going to have a chance down the straight. We'll just see how much he was getting held up. JB just eking out a little bit of distance now, a little bit each corner.
He should be very fast through this part of the track in particular.
Toronto's really nice through here. Just treats this like one big corner. Straightens her up.
Bit of wheel work as he grabs the curbs, closes up at turn 14. Now needs to use the bigger engine capacity to his advantage onto the big, long, kilometre front straight. Tucked in behind him. He breezed past him.
He's coming.
In race 1.
Here we go.
Quick look in the mirror, but there's no one to worry about there. To the inside.
Oh, he's on the rev limiter chip. JB might be able to hang on the outside here.
He's got it back. Great racing. Steven Johnson. That was bold under brakes. Now he needs to make sure that he doesn't open the door at turn 5 again here. We thought all weekend long we were going to be in for a battle between these two. And it looks like in the background, Gomesol's fallen off the pace and back into the clutches of Andrew Midiki. Tight through turn 5. Similar stuff to what we saw in race 1, with lead changes happening twice. Just good battle back for third here.
Big capacity Chevs. Proving better than the Holden down the front straight here at Hidden Valley.
Now for Gomesol, he's in a different class to these guys, so even if he does get drawn into a battle, he doesn't want to go throwing away championship points in the Pro-Am category, considering everyone around him is a Pro Master.
Well, he's leading that by a country mile today. He just holds his own here, and just in this situation, he's just got to drive it out the front. Try and not look in your mirrors. The boys will be on the radio, just giving Jason a bit of coaching, just telling him to eyes forward, look down the road, just hit your marks, get it in the corner and get it off, and he should be right. JB, he's in there.
Late.
Got it done.
And ambitious.
This is going to be a good turn.
And now he'll have the valley section of this track to try and open up a lead that'll be insurmountable.
He's got to dig hard here. He's just got to try and get 1 or 2 more car lengths than he had last time. Steve has a look under brakes there.
I would have been surprised if he pulled that one off.
I don't know what JB's doing. He should be digging hard, working hard, trying to pull it out.
Back down to first gear. Remember these 4-speed boxes that we use? Bit NASCAR style. Grab the limiter for a tiny bit there. And does the Tirana get smaller in the windscreen?
Yep.
A little bit, because we know how quick this car is through this part of the racetrack.
Steve's biggest problem is the car's on the rev limiter just before they get to the braking area, so he needs to be really close so he can pull out beforehand.
Now Midiki's got around Gomesol.
Yep. Jimmy and Cricky are lurking.
These guys are all fighting for a championship, so they will be absolutely ravenous for the points.
Well, Cricky will be. He's sitting in third spot and not a lot off the lead.
First, second and third in terms of that championship battle that we're talking about. And in terms of the round victory, Steven Johnson doesn't need to win this race to claim the round. All he needs to do is finish right where he is. This will also be enough to see JB lock in second and Midiki on for third for the round.
Just a shot of Greg Crick on camera. Also drives in the GT Championship in the Audi, and said he's just having a lot of trouble adjusting back to driving the slower car. And Kingy's had a spin.
Turn 1. Look at the heat haze from down that part of the track as he smokes it up in the dust. Trying a flick turn. It's a long way around. He's got clear traffic to do it. And
Cricky's looking racy here. So when you step back from a car that's got high downforce, big slick tyres, and back to a car that's got a lot of horsepower and not a lot else, you really have to bring your driving back, bring your braking distances back.
This is a great battle pack. Midiki's not actually getting away from them now. He's only opened up 1 or 2 car lengths, so Gomesol really doing an incredible job. Remember, he turned a good 65 laps in testing at Queensland Raceway in preparation with Jim Stone there to watch him.
This is good. We've got a Chevy, Toronto, AMC Javelin, and a bit of Mopar Madness right behind.
Medicki,
what's he doing out there?
He's been doing that every lap so far. It's an unusual line. I don't know why he does it.
I know, you just got to travel more distance.
Is he trying to open up the corner a little bit? It's too early.
It's too early. Maybe he's...
Oh, no. Gomasol smokes it and loses it. Now he needs to get this back quickly because he can still hang on for a class victory here.
So it looks like he sort of opened the corner back and then turned back in and had no idea. Cricky had his nose in there. Cricky's at the inside of the corner. He can't go anywhere.
Oh, he's dropped behind Cam Tilley, which was and Andrew Fisher, actually. So a couple of guys that can take points off him in terms of that championship. Was saying he doesn't need to be fighting with those guys, but
no.
Why not? I mean, you're racing against guys like Jim Richards and Cricky. By the way, Cricky lost a lot of time because of that.
He did. Would have ruined his run out of that turn one.
So now we'll see a battle for third between one of the all-time greats, Jim Richards and Andrew Medicki.
Let's see
how Kingy lost it, I think. Back it in.
Locking the rear tyres. Obviously didn't want to hit the back of Keith and just breathed on the brake pedal a little bit more. So this is right. I'll see this. I think he's cut back in. Had no idea Greg's there. There's still an overlap, so just a little bit of inexperience on Jason's behalf. If you leave a hole, someone's going to fill it. You just can't drive back to the apex and expect no one to be there. You just had to open up the corner a little bit. They both would have continued on and he would have had the line for the next corner. Jimmy's got past.
Yeah, he's up. So he's got around Medicki, presumably down at turn one. This Javelin's now starting to find its feet.
Steve's back on the back of JB again. He might have just cooled it down a bit.
It is the last lap. It'll be tight to try and get around him through the turn 7 to 10 section of this racetrack. Here we go for the final time this weekend. So far this year, when we got rid of the reverse grid race in Tasmania and Winton, we saw the same race winner in all three races, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen here. This weekend was billed as being the return of Johnson and Bauer's teammates, and they'll share race wins. Bauer, the Holden, sounds strange when you say it, is just going to get there. Johnson chased him down and couldn't quite get there. 85 thousandths of a second, if you don't mind. That is extremely close. And that was very entertaining the whole way to the finish straight.
It showed the strengths and weaknesses of both cars there, and pretty even.
We've seen great racing between those two all weekend long. We thought that they'd be swapping the lead around a couple of times. It's what we saw, and a great drive from Jim Richards, and that will help him get some championship points back over Andrew Medicki in the final race this weekend. Despite he finished second in this race, he will hold on for a round victory, his second out of 2 rounds in the NZ Touring Car Masters. But the old wily dog that is John Bauer.
He's happy to get a race win.
Yeah.
He doesn't like coming second.
That's his 4th for the year. Let's check it out. On the scoreboard, it is JB by just 86 thousandths. They did manage to move away from Jim Richards and Andrew Medicki. Crick home for a top 5 and still looking good in that championship. Gomasol, unfortunately, dropping back to 9th. Further back in what was a diminished field from early this weekend, no start there for Gavin Buller, so he will unfortunately lose a lot of points in his championship charge.